Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pizza Motor Cast. This is Dave. I got a special guest, Proma driver Richard Worthington. How you doing, Rich?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So, how was your holidays?
Holidays were pretty good considering all the outside stuff going on, but we had pretty good holidays.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. COVID, trying to limit people from getting together and all that garbage.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, how was the drag
That's
racing?
what they tried.
Right. Yeah, they're not watching everybody's house, seeing how many people are actually in there.
Yeah.
So,
No.
how was the drag racing season for you in 2020 with the COVID going on?
Uh, it had its ups and downs. We had a bunch of mechanical failures and stuff. Um, Luckily, we were able to get out and still run the car and have a good time. Just not the season we were looking forward to. So hopefully, 2021 is going to be much better.
So, are you looking to do anything different to the car during the off season?
No, not really. We're just kind of stepping up our game a little bit on tuning on the motor, more overdrive, stuff like that. Just try and take it to the next level. We changed transmissions at the end of the year for Vegas, went from the Power Glide to a Lenco transmission. So that showed immediate better situation right off the get-go. So we're hoping that that's going to help us a lot this year.
So, why don't you tell us about that beautiful car of yours?
Well, it's a 1968 Camaro. It's a Timmy Camus, one of their VR1 or V1 bodies, one of the originals. All glass, complete chromoly 6.0 third tube chassis built by myself and Bob Bunker Jr. at Bunker Motorsports. It has a Keith Black 525 cubic inch aluminum KB Olds motor, supercharged with a blower shop XR1 blower. That motor is actually one of the original motors that came out of Folsom Flash Bunker's Beast, the old 55 Chevy Pro Mod car. He switched over to a minor, and we ended up getting this motor, and we've been loving it ever since. We have a Lenco drive 3-speed CS2 Lenco transmission and a hand-built 4.9-inch rear end that we built at Bunker Motorsports shop. Spec right converter. Jim Galliotto from ATO Transmissions deals with the Lenco stuff for me. Rex Hutchinson Racing Engines does my machine work, and we do all the assembly and everything. So that's about it as far as, and DJ Safety. DJ Safety helps us out huge with a lot of the safety stuff. So.
Oh, yeah, good old Big Ben.
Oh, Ben's wonderful. He just helping me with all my research stuff that I had to do all over again.
So what year was this car actually completed and ready to run?
This car took me 10 years to build. Being that I'm not the richest guy in the world, and the nice thing, my labor was free, but buying all the parts, so it took quite a bit of time to build. We've had it going for about 4 years, I think, just progressively getting it faster and faster.
So what's the fastest runtime you've had with that car so far?
Well, in a quarter mile, we went 669 at 208 with a Hurt Power Glide transmission. We had basically a lot of slippage on the high gear. So we're hoping to do better with that. The 8th mile times, I really can't tell you because that's all grudge, and we're secretive on all that.
Now, you prefer quarter mile or 8th mile racing?
8th mile. It's just a lot easier on the parts. You really got to be on your game with your tune-up and everything because you don't get that extra 8th mile to try and, close out on somebody. You got to be on it, and you got to be on it quick.
So for 2021, how many events are you looking to run?
I think we're either 7 or 8 is what we're doing this year. Most of that's going to be the grudge stuff with West Coast Outlaws, Troy Baugh, and his deal. And then we're going to do one Pro Mod event at the Pepsi Nightfire Nationals in Boise, Idaho. We're hoping we can do Monty's event at SAC in May, and we're going to do Vegas at the end of the year, Streetcar Super Nationals, and then maybe also some West Coast hot rod stuff. Just have to see how the budget goes this year.
All right. So now, Rich, what made you get into drag racing in the first place?
Well, my dad ran gas classes back when I was born. So I've been out the racetrack since I was like 2 years old, and it's just always been in my blood, and it's always something that I've loved. I used to show cars for quite a while. I did really good with that in the ISCA, a lot of magazine stuff, a lot of centerfold stuff with the car. We actually had a fire with the car one time towing it to an event, and we ended up stripping it, turning it into a full race car deal, and never looked back from that point.
So what was the first car you ever raced in?
The first car was the 69 Camaro. Then my dad bought brand new right off the showroom floor.
Wow.
In 69, and then I ended up with that car.
So
that's the car that I ended up hooking up with Bunker Jr., which over time, I used to go out to the track and watch his dad run with the Flash, and that blown motors and that type of deals and that type of racing is what I fell in love with, and I've never looked back from that point. That's just always what I wanted to do. Became really good friends with Bob Bunker Jr. and his dad, and it just progressed from there.
So did you have any success with that 69 Camaro when you had it?
Yeah, we had some, but it was initially it was a mild steel 750 car. We were going to run A-gas with it, and it just never panned out. I wanted to go a lot quicker than that, so I actually sold that car. Me and my buddy Bob built a 57 Chevy Pro Mod car that we ran for quite a while. Actually, at one point, we held the mile-an-hour record with that car at 219 miles an hour, and that was a long time ago. So it was, I think we were about 5 or 6 miles an hour faster than anybody in the country at that point. So, and then that car, that car caught on fire, had a pretty substantial fire, and we ended up just parking that thing, and a guy by the name of Jay Dietrich bought that car, and we redid the whole car, and he ran it for quite a while before he moved on to his Camaro and other things. So that one had a little bit of history with it. From that point, I just, after that, I decided to buy the Camaro body, and we just built that from there. And like I said, it was a 10-year process, and, we've been having a blast with it ever since.
So what do you enjoy most about being a drag racer, Rich?
The family aspect of it, the friends, the tuning and driving. I mean, everything has its own place. Whenever we go racing, I really look forward to seeing people I haven't seen in a long time, spending a bunch of time with them, barbecuing, partying, doing all that stuff. Just having a great time with a lot of great people, until you line up next to them, and then it's serious for that 6 seconds or so. But, yeah, that's the thing. The camaraderie and just having a good time. Being able to make that car haul ass is the best part.
Now, is there anything that you don't like about drag racing?
No, I haven't really found anything that I haven't liked about drag racing. That's why I still like it, other than the fact that it costs a fortune.
Yeah, so I was about to say that maybe the money part.
Yeah, but I mean, the purses and everything are getting better and better. The quality of the races are getting better and better. So it's just, as long as we don't have these little setbacks with viruses and everything else, we can continue to grow, and who knows what this world's going to be with electric powered cars and all this other garbage. So we're just going to keep going as long as we can and just keep having a blast.
So if you didn't become a drag racer, do you have any idea what you'd be doing right now?
Oh, God, I have no idea. I was actually just talking about that the other day. I don't like gardening. So I have no idea. This has basically been the path through my life, and this is all that I've enjoyed. Mechanics, racing, everything, and building cars, and this is what I love to do.
So what made you choose the Batman theme?
When that car was first built, we painted it flat black or satin black, and we called it Sinister. It didn't have very much markings or anything on it. We were actually at Reading Racetrack running a grudge deal, and we blew up a tranny, so it was not in the greatest of mood. And a bunch of kids came up. I'll tell you what, when kids come up and want autographs and stuff like that, it changes your mood in a heartbeat. You can't be mad when you have that kind of stuff going on. But the kids came up, and one of them said, this car really looks like the Batmobile. And we kind of just took it from there. We put the markings and everything on it and came up with the Bat Crazy deal. And, man, it was taken off crazy since then. So, I mean, anymore I can't go anywhere without anybody just calling me Batman instead of my normal name. So we have a blast with it. It's an icon thing, and we love it. Kids love it. Adults love it. It's crazy.
So what keeps your passion going about drag racing?
I just love it. I mean, it's just going faster, working on everything to try and go faster. Try and get as much wins as you can. But in my world anymore, winning isn't the most important thing. Like I said, it's camaraderie. It's having a good time, not hurting the car, and just going out and going as fast as you can. It's a challenge. It's always a challenge for me to try and get the car to run as good as it can. Luckily, I have some great people help me with that. Troy Baugh tunes on the car. Between me and him, we kind of figure out our game plan, what we're going to do with the motor. He works on the grid stuff and everything. We just go from there. We've been very successful with it.
So besides Troy, who are your other crew members?
I have my daughter. She's my team manager, Courtney Worthington. My crew chief, Jason Hall. My daughter's boyfriend and my grandbaby's father, Dan Martin. And then we also have a backup girl that we bring in quite a bit, Michelle Moescu. She does the back row stuff sometimes. She does Harley Quinn sometimes. So it depends on her schedule when she's available to do it. And other than that, usually my daughter's my backup girl. So with that small team, we work great together. If we have issues, these guys are all over it. And I couldn't ask for a better group of guys.
And of course, many people would know Michelle as Hot Rod Blondie.
Yep, Hot Rod Blondie.
Yep.
And then we also, between my car and Troy's car, the Instigator car, we'll jump back and forth with crew people depending on if one car needs something or another. So we always park together. We do the open pit. It's just a wide open thing, and we help each other immensely.
So now, Rich, do you think you could get any better as a race car driver? And if so, what do you do to achieve that, to get better?
You can always get better as a race car driver. To achieve it is just seat time. It's more and more seat time because, I mean, when I think everything that I've gone through with the car is normal, all of a sudden it'll catch up and do something that I've never experienced before. So it's just seat time. It's just getting overly comfortable in the car to the point where you know everything it's going to do when it does it.
Now, if you're able to have the fans remember one thing about you, what would you want that one thing to be that they remember about you, Rich?
That we busted our butts, put on a good show, and that we're always open for the fans. I'll stop in the middle of whatever I'm doing to go talk to a fan or sign an autograph or whatever I need to do. The fans are what keeps me going to a degree. Like I said, when you have a bad day and nothing's working right, you have a little kid that comes up and wants your autograph, you can't have a bad day. I mean, it just puts the biggest smile on my face and makes me feel so good when somebody does that. So that's the biggest thing. That's what I get the most enjoyment out of.
Now, do you guys throw a lot of kids in the seat of the car?
Oh yeah. We're known for that. Even Al Tucci has made comments at races we've been at. How great! I mean, he flat out. These guys. I don't know how many kids these guys have put in the cars or adults, but every time I turn around, they got somebody else in the car. Even when we're waiting for winter pictures in Arizona, we're putting kids in the car. So I love it. People, their faces light up. It's hard to get the adults in, but once you get them in, then they're glued. You can't get them out. Kids are easy. The adults, they're a little bit more work.
No, yeah, well, that creates a memory of a lifetime for kids and adults to sit in the car.
Oh yeah. We had to force Joe Wall in the car. He was a little big. We had to snug him in there, but once he got in, he had a blast.
Yeah.
So anytime we can get anybody in there. I mean, my guys, when we're waiting to pull up to the line or whatever we're doing, when people walk up, it's the first thing all my guys say is, "You want to sit in the car?" And they look at us like we're crazy. It's like, there's nothing you can hurt in this car that I haven't heard already. So just get in the car and have a good time. Then once they're in, they want to ask them any questions about everything, which is great.
Now, as far as the sport of drag racing goes, Rich, do you have any drag racers that you were influential to you, you looked up to?
John Force and Bob Bunker Sr. are the two that I've looked up to the most.
Yeah, I get a lot of John Force answers all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Guy built himself up on practically nothing.
Well, that was it. I mean, he talks about the time when all the crew guys and him were eating one cheeseburger. You know, we've been there. We've been in that mode. He's just worked his butt off to get where he's at, and I appreciate that because that's what we do. We're as low buck as you can get, and if there's something wrong, we're going to either build the part or something. We're going to make it work. So that's our thing. Whatever, we don't give up until there's no way we can't make it. I mean, we've been in situations before finals where we had one against Bodie where we sheared all the bolts off the converter and didn't have a whole lot of time to fix it. And it's amazing because I looked up at one point and I said, you know what? Karma must be really good on my side because I must have had 20 guys in my pit helping us get the car together. You know, all racers, and it was crazy, and just a big thrash going on, and we got it done. Able to race Bodie. We lost, but we didn't give him a gimme, so and that was the best part.
So, Rich, how was your first time experience? You know, going down a drag strip back when we got the '69 Camaro. How was the experience?
No, that is what iced it big time. At that point, I was done. There was nothing else. You know, had to go faster. So. You know, at that point, I was done. I was hooked on it, never looked back, and enjoy it every time we get to do it.
So was there any nervousness going down the track for the first time?
I'm nervous every time I get in that car. Every time.
So how was it the first time driving that car you got now, the Batman car?
That was a blast. That was, you know, once you get through the nerve portion of it, and you just get strapped in, and then your ghrelin takes over, and you just concentrate on what you're doing, then, you know, and then the car to respond as fast as it did right out of the gate. That was incredible. And it's just progressively gotten faster and faster and faster.
Now, is it a big adrenaline rush for you every time you go on a track in that car?
Every time. Every time.
So if the adrenaline rush ever stops, you think that'd be about the time you probably get out of drag racing?
I wouldn't get out of drag racing. I would just pretty much go to tuning. I mean, I'm almost 60 years old, and, you know, it gets a little bit harder and harder every year as you get older and older. I still enjoy the hell out of it, but I also enjoy the tune-up aspect of it. So if I ever did decide to hang up the driving part, I've got some people in line to drive it big time. Everybody wants to drive the car. But I would still continue on and tune it and just have the same passion that I do now.
All right. So now, being at 60 years old in the sport of drag racing, do you have any thing on a bucket list that you still would love to try one day in drag racing?
No, not really. I mean, every year it's just to set a personal best to go quicker and faster every year. That's my bucket list with drag racing.
So what have been some of the milestones for you in drag racing?
The biggest milestone we had was winning the West Coast Hot Rod Championship 2 years ago with Troy driving. That was kind of a weird deal because me and him have been friends for a long time, and we were actually racing in Sacramento, and we were racing each other. And he beat me, but he blew up his motor. And he was leading points in the West Coast Hot Rod grudge deal for Big Tire. And I asked him, I said, well, do the points go with the driver or do they go with the car? And he had to call Danny Topol, and Danny said to go with the driver. And the last race, he was, I think, winning by, I can't remember, it's a very minimal amount of points over Giuseppe Gentile. And I said, well, let's take my car, you drive it, and let's go to Tucson, and let's do this. And he just was in shock that I even offered to let him do that. But we went, knowing Giuseppe's one of the baddest in the land, and we actually raced him first round off the chip draw, and he had some issues with the car. We ended up winning the race and the West Coast Championship. So that was probably the most special moment that I've had so far.
Wow. So what would you consider to be your fondest memory of your drag racing career? That one?
That one is at this point I'm still looking for better. I still want some more wins and some big wins, but that was the way that played out, and it was just a phenomenal thing for it to happen, and it's something that me and Troy will remember forever.
Now, when you get there on Out in the staging lanes, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions when you're out there?
Not really. I mean, I just do basic stuff like check the wheelie bar, check the chutes, look and make sure that the tacked right and the strands are in them and everything's good with that. And then it's just get in the car. My daughter buckles me into the car. At that point, I just try and relax and get in the moment and get ready to go.
So your daughter don't want to be a drag racer?
Oh, yes, she does. We're actually in the process of getting her a car together right now to run some bracket stuff and maybe some gas classes. It's a actual 4-door 70-something Nova, big block Chevy, Power Glide, just the regular stuff. I got to put a good cage and stuff in it for her, and she's going to get rolling here pretty soon.
There you go, future drag racer right there.
Yep. Well, her boyfriend races. He races motorcycles. He's got an Alter that he races. Drives for another guy. So, it's all in the family. My grandbaby, that poor kid, has got more Batman stuff than I will ever have. He loves, he's always in the cars. He always wants to sit on my lap or in the staging lanes or in the pits. So he's screwed. He's done.
Yeah, you'll be getting him a junior dragster one day.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that today. As a matter of fact, we got 4 more years and we got to start getting one together for him. So,
yep,
that'll happen.
Yeah. So now, who are your sponsors?
We have the blower shop, which is the biggest. We have Spec Rec Converters, DJ Safety, Bunker Motorsports, Instigator Motorsports, and ATO Transmissions, and Rex Hutchinson Racing Engines. Oh, and I got to put a big shout out to Reed's Body Shop and Rod Shop. They did the brand new paint job on the car. It's absolutely. We went from the satin black to a gloss black. He laid down candy, blue, purple, and white flames, the true flames on the car. He also put the Batman logos. He's got little Batman logos all over the car. You don't even realize it until you get up close and see there's Batman logos everywhere. It's just an incredible paint job. And the crazy part was he did this in about 4 days.
Wow.
So, and to look at it, everybody that's seen it just absolutely loves it. So, yeah, he's been great.
So now, does it take a lot of preparation getting that Pro Mod ready for a weekend of drag racing?
Yeah, we do a lot of maintenance stuff. Like right now, we have everything completely apart on the car. Getting ready, waiting for some parts to get here, and we'll get ready to put it all back together. In between, as we're going for the year, we just go through and do normal maintenance, which is checking bearings, checking all the transmission stuff, pulling the third member apart, making sure it's all good. It's just general maintenance and put it all back together and get it going and ready to go. So as long as you don't hurt anything, it's pretty simple.
Then, of course, you got to check the hauler, too, and make sure the hauler's tires are good and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah, we do all that. We're actually working on that right now as we speak, trying to get it ready to go for this year, too. So It never stops.
Yeah. So, what are your favorite tracks to race on?
Vegas and Boise are just phenomenal tracks. The fans in Boise are just incredible. They will line up for autographs. They have an autograph session during their event for the pro drivers, for Pro Mod, Field Funny Car, Field Dragster, the Altereds, all them guys. And they have a Friday night session and a Saturday night session. And they just let us all sit at tables with our hero cards, and the fans line up for it's forever. We passed out, we signed almost 150 hero cards last year in like an hour. And then they also have flags, and it's incredible. These fans are just, they love their racing. So that's probably one of my favorite spots to go to. Sacramento, it's my home track. I always love going there. Medford, we did that last year, and it's pretty good. We're going to go back there again this year. So just, there's all different ones. They all have their little things that make them special.
Now, as far as your fire safety equipment, you get all that from Big Ben?
Yep, yep. Everything's from Ben. Fire suit, everything. Only thing I don't is the helmet and the Hans, which are Simpson products. Everything else is Ben. The chutes, the fire extinguisher system, everything is all Ben.
So now, since you've been drag racing, have you had any accidents or close calls?
Nope, nope.
Well,
Had
not.
close calls, but luckily I've learned that when things get sideways, you throw the chutes early and you get your foot out of the throttle. I don't need to be a hero.
Yeah.
I can't afford to wreck the car. Let's put it that way. So.
Well, knock on wood, you won't never have any accidents.
Yeah. Hopefully to God, but if it's going to happen, it'll happen. You just got to be prepared for it. Thank God for the stuff we have in the car, how it was built, and the safety stuff that Ben supplies us with. In all my years of doing this, I've seen so many people getting the most horrendous wrecks and just get right out of the cars. So that's the biggest thing. It's all about safety.
Yep. Now, let me ask you some fun questions here. Outside of sport of drag racing, you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, I like shooting guns, like hunting. Not so much fishing. I can't handle fishing. It's just if fish ain't on the hook in 5 minutes, I'm done. I have no patience for it.
But it's relaxing to be out there and
Huh?
outdoors with the quiet, and it relaxes you.
Well, I'll watch somebody else fish and just have a beer. I just get too frustrated with fishing. That's about it. Just love now. I mean, being a first-time grandpa here in the last year, I love playing with my grandbaby and having a good time with him. So that's it. Just building cars and racing.
Now, have you won any trophies or plaques throughout your career?
Like I said, back when I did the show car stuff, I won. I had rooms full of trophies. I mean, we did magazine stuff for Australia and all kinds of crazy stuff. We had a 3-page centerfold pull-out with the car in Hot Rod magazine, which they've never done. My car's the only one they've ever done that with. That kind of stuff. And then the combo wins that we had when Troy was driving the car, we had quite a few of those. So that was it. Looking for a lot more.
All right. So now, Rich, if you were able to find a time travel machine and go back in the time, would you do anything differently with your drag racing career?
Yeah, the first car I built, the Camaro, instead of building it a mild steel chassis, I would have built it as a Pro Molly 6.0 circuit chassis.
Now,
that car's still running in the grudge world. It's actually been on Street Outlaws. One of these days, hopefully, I can buy that stupid car back. Because that was a steel roof and quarter panel '69 Camaro car. So,
what state is the car in now?
it's in California. Last I heard. I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't know if they're still racing or not. If they are, they're probably running on the street, not out in the local tracks or anything like that. So.
All right. So, what's your favorite food to eat?
I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy.
Favorite beverage?
So, steak. Favorite beverage, drink a lot of soda, but for alcoholic beverages, Troy Baugh makes this margarita that is out of the freaking world. I can't describe it. You just got to taste it. And everybody does. Every race we have these margaritas, and usually he's got a line of people wanting to get one. So that's my favorite alcoholic beverage.
Now, do you know how to cook?
Oh, yeah.
So, what's your best dish to cook that you think?
Oh, God. You have to ask my kids about that. I love cooking breakfast more than anything else. I love doing the pancakes and all the other stuff that goes with it. I used to spoil my kids big time on Sunday mornings. They'd get pancakes, scrambled it. I mean, they get all kinds of stuff, sausage, everything, bacon. It was insane. I just overly cooked on Sunday. So that's always been my favorite thing. But I love barbecuing. I've gotten real good, but my crew chief Jason Hall got one of those Traeger deals, and we pretty much relinquished the barbecuing to him because he makes some incredible barbecue.
All right, so when you're at the track for a day racing, how is your eating habits? Rich, do you eat lightly and wait till the races are done, or do you eat normally during the day?
I don't eat normally. It's lightly, and it's primarily grapes, bananas, um, stuff like that. Maybe small sandwiches, stuff that especially when it's so hot. You gotta really make sure your water intake's great. Gatorade, stuff like that, and you're not eating a bunch of food that's going to make you slow as crap. So we pretty much stay on that, and then at nighttime, then we kind of split it a little bit with, barbecue or whatever else we're doing at that point. But during the day, it's just stuff that is the healthiest possible, snacks, granola, stuff like that.
All right, so what's your favorite type of music to listen to?
80s hair bands is my favorite.
Motley Crue, Poison, Doc and
Yeah,
Cinderella, all that stuff, huh?
all that, yep. And Joe Waller.
Yeah, yeah, the Joe Walla Band. There you go.
I love Joe Waller, so every chance we get to see him play, we're definitely there.
Yep. Now, what's your favorite color?
Purple.
Biggest pet peeve?
Liars.
Now, are you a dog person or a cat person?
Dog.
Now, if someone were to give you, we'll say, $900 million, and they said,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, Rich, I want you to build a brand new drag race track," where would you consider building a new track at, and what kind of features would you want to put into a brand new drag race track?
Um, it wouldn't be in California. Um, God, every state is weird on stuff nowadays, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Um, Even if Texas has a lot of tracks, but the weather's so good, I mean, it's hard to say. It would probably be, I don't know. I've never really thought of that. But it would definitely be a track like Vegas or Sonoma.
Now, would you put like the heating cooling system on the track?
Oh yeah, yeah. Temperature control deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the covered grandstands for the fans for to keep the sun out in the rain when it rains.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always good.
Something like the stuff they have in Dubai. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of those racetracks. They are incredible with the comfort, that they give fans with the enclosed stuff. Because it gets so hot there. But the track's phenomenal. The spectator areas are phenomenal. Everything's great. You got to try and make it as comfortable spectators as you can.
Now, if someone might be listening to the interview right now, whether it be a young kid or an adult, and they're thinking about being a drag racer one day, what kind of advice would you give?
Build it right the first time. Buy a car that's already done, that is what you want to have in the end game. It's cost you. If you went the route that I do, building all these numerous different cars and changing things, and the money's just incredible. If I knew now what I knew, what I was going through that back then, I would have built everything entirely different. I'd probably have the same car, and it would still be going. Just take your time, pick the class you love, be a sponge, talk to people, ask racers what you think they should do, all that kind of stuff. Just learn everything you can before you just go out and either break a lot of stuff or hurt stuff or whatever else. Just if you really love it, put your heart into it. Don't go cheap on anything, and just do it right. You'll be way ahead in the long run.
So now, if people want to come out and see a race, what's the best way they can find you on social media to see where you're gonna be racing at?
Well, they have my Facebook page, which is Rick Worth, and then we have a Bat Crazy Racing page also on Facebook, and then we have on Instagram the same thing, Bat Crazy Racing. And generally beforehand, we'll post where we're going to be at, what we're doing, the dates and everything.
So you weren't able to get into the other Facebook page?
No, I guess a whole lot of people got logged out that night, and I tried to log back in, and it didn't recognize any of my passwords. It wouldn't let me reset my password. It's like it didn't want me in there. So I just started a whole new Facebook page. Luckily, my daughter controls the racing page, so that's still around. So, but yeah, it was nuts. That night was nuts. So I just said, forget it. I'm not going to deal with it. I'll just make a new one.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people thinking it was they didn't think it was your profile, the new one. I got a friend request from you. I don't. We might have been.
Yeah, I know. They thought it was all, yeah.
Yeah, you got
Had to
hacked.
convince everybody. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to have a daughter that's good with internet and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful. She keeps me in line more ways than you know, especially with the racing stuff. Because it seems like every time I post something about racing, I always leave out a sponsor or something stupid. So she pretty much has to ride over me big time and make sure that I'm eating right. Because unfortunately, I get out there and I won't eat. I'll just, my mind is so involved with thinking about the track and thinking about where I need to put the car and thinking about the tune, everything. And I just, all of a sudden 7 hours has gone by and haven't eaten nothing. So she makes sure that I'm eating. And, I stay hydrated and stay relaxed. And my crew's really good with all that. They make sure that I'm where I need to be when I get in the car. So,
Yeah, it's good to have a good crew behind you to keep that car rolling good.
oh, yeah, you definitely got to have a good crew. You just can't. And the crazy part is right now is when it's most important. Because right now is when you make your winning push for everything, making sure everything's right with the car, having guys there to help you get the car where it needs to be and ready to roll. It's impossible to almost do it yourself. There's just so much involved, and my guys are great. They take time away from their families and doing stuff to help me get this thing going. And we hope every year that we're number one with everything, and we win a bunch of races, and that's our goal. So we give it our best shot every time we go out.
So what should we look forward to out of you in the 2021 race season?
We're going to do a lot of testing at the beginning of the year. Get me more seat time in the car, more comfortable in the car, and hopefully we're going to be running a lot of final rounds and we're going to be hurting a lot of feelings.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Rick, for taking time to do this interview today.
Thank you, Dave.
You have any final words or thank yous before we close out?
I just want to thank all my sponsors: Blower Shop, Bunker Motorsports, Spec Right Converters, DJ Safety, ATO Transmissions, and Rex Hutchinson Racing Engines. And especially want to thank all the fans, the people who come up and spend their time with us and just make us feel great, make us feel important, even though we're just regular old people. But they just make us, continue to do what we want to do and do it at the level that we're trying to do it at.
Yeah, so if anybody's listening to this interview and they go to see Rich for the first time, make sure you stop by the pits and say hello to him.
100%. Make sure you come by the pits. We a lot of times hero cards, whatever, T-shirts, all kinds of stuff. We'll let you sit in the car. We'll have a blast. I mean, we've had people come in and sit down and have barbecue with us and stuff. So it's fans are the best, and that's what we do this for.
Yeah, I know a lot of times you guys are thrashing away to get to the next round, but you always take a minute at least to say hello.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
All my guys do. They're wonderful about that stuff. Sometimes I'm either doing stuff on the computer or whatnot, and I look out and I got 3 people lined up to get in the car, and my crew guys are all taking care of it while they're doing their responsibilities. So they're great about that stuff.
That's awesome. Well, thanks again, Rich, for doing this interview today.
You bet. Thank you very much.
And I wish you the best of luck with the 2021 drag racing season.
Thank you, Dave. We're going to need it.
And you have a great night, my friend.
All right. You too, bud.
Okay, bye.